Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Wine. Welcome back to art class. This is day 5 of our Zentangle inspired drawing project. This week, you will need your drawing. You will need either a black pen or a black Sharpie, whatever you've been using. And this week, you get to add one color. So the question we have to start with is which color would you want to use and why are you selecting that color? Is it your favorite color? Are you trying to communicate something to the viewer about your drawing? Are you using that color for a specific reason? Does it make you think of something that goes along with your patterns? So you're making sure that you're picking just one color that's really going to create a point of emphasis or a place that's going to draw the viewer's attention. Once you have your materials, we're ready to get to work. So let's get started. Our learning target says, I will create interest by adding some patterns with one color. So remember, at this point, you should already have simple patterns drawn in the largest areas of your drawing. That means you should have simple patterns in your palms and wrists and simple patterns in the background shapes. If you do not have those simple patterns done, you need to start with those. Then make sure you have selected the one color that you're going to use. And you are simply going to continue your pattern work, starting to work today on filling in those small areas, those little tiny areas where your fingers overlap. And today you're also adding that color with the Sharpie to create interest. You want to make sure that you balance your colors in different areas on your page. So if I'm doing small areas on this side, I want to include small areas on this side. If I'm doing small areas near the top, I want to include some that are near the bottom. You could also consider using the Sharpie to add a bit of color to some of the patterns in the large areas on your paper. Again, just make sure that you're working neatly and you're balancing where you put those colors. Also, make sure that you are not just copying patterns from the Zentangle patterns that already exist. We did a lot of work helping to create our own patterns. So make sure you're including some of your own original patterns. When you are finished, I want you to get your rubric for this project. Your rubric has space at the bottom for you to set 1 or 2 goals for yourself as we start to work next week to improve and finish your drawing. If you are working at school, share your goals with a partner. If you're working at home, share your goals with someone at your house. It could be a grown-up or a brother or sister, a cousin, a neighbor, whoever you can get to look at your artwork and whoever will listen to you and give you feedback. When you're looking at your rubric, there is one new area that has been added this week, and that's the area of color. So you are still looking at line and shape. Are you using a wide variety of different lines and different shapes to create patterns that are interesting? How are you using color? Is your color balanced? And does it add emphasis? You really want to use that color to draw attention to certain areas of your drawing. Maybe your most interesting patterns might be the ones you do with color. And then finally, patterns and value. Are you starting to create patterns that are giving you a wide variety of values? You want to have some lines that are closer together to create patterns that are darker, or you could even color some areas in, either with the color or with the black. And those areas that are colored in are going to give you darker values. Look at your neatness. your drawing technique, and your value technique. Are your patterns contained in each individual shape? You're not crossing over those original outlines. Remember, the line is like a stop sign. It means stop and change patterns. Are your patterns drawn with precision, lines that are very smooth and neat? And if you are coloring areas in to create dark values, are you coloring inside the lines or inside the shapes you drew? And finally, the last area that we're looking at is creativity and your complexity of patterns. You want some patterns to be complex or complicated and created with a wide variety of lines and shapes. This is the part where you also want to make sure that you are creating some of your own original patterns and not just copying off the sheets I gave you. Make sure you write down on your rubric at the bottom, there's a space for you to write your shows. Give yourself a note about something you think you're doing really, really well, and your grows. List at least one thing you need to work on as we work to finish this next week. Put on some soothing, chill background music. Enjoy making your patterns. Be focused and be creative. That's what Zentangle is all about, creating those different patterns that get tangled up in each other. I hope you have an excellent week, and as always, keep on creating.